So if I'm working for you and you're charging by the hour and you're paying me by the hour like that, why should I work any harder? Hey, plumbing pros, welcome to the 462nd episode of Potty Talk. I'm your host, Richard Behney, the $1 Million Plumber, along with my co-host, the lovely Laura. And we have a fun episode here. Okay, we're going to answer the question, all right? Should you charge flat rate or should you charge hourly, like time and material?
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a look at both, a little bit of pros and cons.
Yep.
And hopefully come out by the end of this episode. In fact, not hopefully, we will come out. Okay.
Well, you'll know the answer.
You'll know. All right. So you're not going to want to miss it. So stick around. Okay. I got a very powerful business tool here that you need to check out. Hey, check this out. Are you looking for a way to show appreciation to your customers? Look no further than To Your Success, the leading gifting service for plumbing businesses nationwide. Imagine this. After every service call, your customers receive a delightful gift like freshly baked cookies right at their doorstep. To Your Success makes it easy to automate this process, ensuring your customers feel valued and appreciated every single time. But it's not just about gifts. It's about creating memorable experiences that shape how your customers feel about your plumbing company. With To Your Success, you can turn every interaction into an opportunity for connection and loyalty. So, if you want to enhance your customers' relationships and stand out in the competitive plumbing market, visit milliondollarplumber.com/cookie today. Join us in making customer appreciation a priority and watch your business thrive. That's milliondollarplumber.com/cookie. All right, there you go. Check it out. All right, help grow your plumbing business. That's what we're all about here.
All right.
Potty Talk.
Okay.
Working on growing your plumbing business.
Yes.
And, so in one of the questions we get a lot is on, charging. Okay, charging hourly, time and material, okay, by the hour, okay, or do I charge, what's flat rate,
Right.
okay,
Yes.
which way should I go?
Okay.
Well, let's take a look first, okay, at number one here, okay, all right, number one, hourly pricing feels fair, okay, until it doesn't, okay, what do we mean? Okay, for the customer, okay, and even for us, it feels right, okay, until it doesn't. Really, the bottom line is, I'm just going to say, I'm going to get right to it. Charging hourly, time and material, okay, it feels transparent. That's where you think, the cost up front, whatever.
Right. You know the time and the materials, and this is the cost.
But it is confusing your customers, okay, all right, and is killing your profits, period, okay? And here's why. Look, you give time and material, so you give your hourly rate, and it's like, $150 an hour. I don't make that much.
Lawyers don't make that well.
Right.
They do, but.
Right. Okay. Well, if you're charging $150 an hour, this is for another episode. Okay. You ain't charging enough. Even just you in a truck, you're starting out. Okay. All right. You're not charging enough. In fact, it's costing you $150 an hour. Okay. Yep. But you can't explain that to your customer.
You cannot.
Okay.
They don't care.
They don't care. Right. It's just all they see, at that point, your value becomes about that. How much you're charging, okay? Not what you're doing, not what you're providing, okay? It's what you're charging. And customers just don't see the value in plumbing. There is no one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber. How many times have you heard me say that on Potty Talk?
Twice.
Okay? No one wakes up in the morning and wants to call a plumber, but they called you, okay? But it's for 40 years. I've gone to customers' homes, over 40 years, all right?
You started when you were 8.
Yes. And it's always been, I don't make that much money, okay? Even back, I can remember working for a plumbing company way back in the day. It was $55 an hour.
Gee whiz.
$55 an hour, okay? $55 an hour, I don't make that much, okay? Well, neither does the company, if you're going, you try to talk with, you can't do it. So
we've got insurance and we've got gas and we've got payroll taxes and blah. They don't care.
Right.
They don't care.
It's just how it is. Okay. They just don't value plumbers. Okay. It's always been that way. That's how it's always going to be. Okay.
Be that way.
Also it leads to the customer friction, because now they're watching. When they know they're on the clock, you're on the clock, they're on the clock, they're watching the clock. Okay, so when you go out to get that tool, okay, and you're out to the truck for 10, 15 minutes because you're on a call, figuring something out, or you get the tool figured, you can't find it, that kind of thing. they're customers think, I'm being charged for this.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What's taking so long?
Right. Or you take a phone call or something like that. What?
Or you've got to go get some parts.
So, right.
Oh, then they're just seeing.
Right.
Ding, ding,
You're
ding,
coasting
ding,
and
ding,
probably
ding,
going
ding.
through, yes.
Yeah.
You know? And that's exactly what happens. You know, the customers are watching. So it causes that, you know, greater friction, which, you know, we're leading all the way to the end. It doesn't matter how good the work is. It's going to be expensive. And so the review, you know, you wind up getting a 3-star review.
Right.
You know, it
Charged
did
me
work.
hourly, and he would go to the parts house, and
It seemed like he was right. Yeah.
he took forever, and he was out of his truck, and blah blah blah. He took a phone call and whatever. So yeah.
Exactly. And also, you know, charging by the hour, and which is also, you know, we're you know, even paying by the hour like that as well. Okay. It really comes down, it punishes your techs.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're trying to get them to do more work and to work more efficient. So if I'm working for you and I'm, you know, you're charging by the hour and you're paying me by, you know, the hour like that, you know, why should I work any harder? Why should I work? Why should I work faster?
Right.
I make the same amount of money, you know? So why should I figure out how to be more efficient?
Right.
You know, why should I have my truck stocked? You know,
Yeah,
I get paid to go to the supply house.
Right.
I mean, so if I stay on top of things and, you know, and always thinking about, and, you know, setting things up, you know, so that we can do more jobs, I don't benefit from that. I get paid the same.
Yeah. If I take all day on this toilet reset,
Right.
who cares? Right. I'm getting paid. You know, I can dilly dally around. Oh shoot, I forgot to get the wax ring. I need to run to the supply house, and then I'm going to stop at, you know, 7-Eleven and get my burrito and blah, 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 and drive back. Why not? They get paid the exact same amount. So,
Right. You know, so bottom line, by charging hourly, you know, time and material, okay, you're really killing your profits. All right. And you're confusing your customers.
Right.
And here's why. Okay. It leads to point number 2. Okay. Point number 2, okay, flat rate pricing equals confidence plus clarity plus control. Okay.
big
But
3 C's.
All right. What do I mean by that? Well, flat rate pricing puts you in control. Okay. You're in control of things, and it builds trust with your customers. Okay. There's no surprises. There's no doubts. Okay. It's just the value. And the bottom line of this is we live in you know, the world is flat. I like to say, you know, that's the world is flat rate, that is.
Flat rate.
Okay. What do I mean by that? Okay. When you go to Walmart, okay, whether you're buying the groceries or, you know, we buy a TV, okay? Yep. Do they break down your groceries into TV and time and material?
They don't at my Walmart.
No. So, you know, to get the beans, to cut the beans, you know, we had to cut the beans. We got the can, and we got the paper wrap on the can.
Well, no, you
had
to start all the way at the beginning.
Okay.
We had to plant.
Right.
We had to prepare the soil for the beans, right? We had to have the workers.
And
to
this
plant.
was this much, and then this much,
Right.
and then this much, and then this much, and then this much,
Right.
this much, and then when you find out you're paying, you know, the plant manager, you know, the plant's charging you, you know, $1,000 an hour to can these things. Well, I don't make $1,000 an hour or whatever, but it all comes down to a flat rate price,
Yes.
though,
Well,
because all those costs are built in by how many units they have to sell.
Right.
All
What's your Taco Bell
Wow.
Taco Bell experience? Because just so you know, and if you've watched long enough, you know Richard's got he Joneses for Taco Bell for sure. Did anyone say Joneses?
I know.
I don't know.
Okay.
But Taco
We're
Bell
gonna
is
date
that was one of the first places we went on a date was Taco Bell. And he always gets, always. When I say always, I mean without fail. Without fail, this is what he gets. Bean burrito, minus onions, because onions are of the devil, according to the $1 Million Plumber. Without onions.
And they cause COVID.
Without onions, extra cheese, and add sour cream. Always. That's what he always gets.
Perfect.
So
perfect. Okay. But I broke it down. Do you know that Taco Bell, now this has been some years now. So even back.
need to redo it.
Okay. I'm sure the cost has gone up, but it was just over Taco Bell charges just over $300 an hour to make that bean burrito.
Ridiculous.
Okay. I won't go into right. Okay. But they don't say, you know, we charge $300 an hour plus the materials and all that kind of thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they do whatever. How much is a bean burrito?
Oh,
When's the last time you went?
Yeah,
Here's a good question.
Well, I don't keep track of the cost anymore either. All right, that's a good thing about being a $1 Million Plumber.
You don't have to worry about the cost of
worry
your
about the
bean
cost.
burrito.
You don't worry about the cost of. Okay,
And
but
splurge on the extra cheese.
exactly right. I can afford the extra sour cream.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Very large.
But you don't do that. Okay. We live in a flat rate world. Okay. So when you going out to your plumbing customer and giving them a time and material cost breakdown, that's different. That's uncomfortable. Okay. All right.
Yes.
And so that's not normal. All right. Yep. So already you're in an uncomfortable situation. You're putting the customer in an uncomfortable situation. And an uncomfortable customer is not a buying customer.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Another thing about going flat rate, it turns your service into a product. Okay. All right. And a product's easier to sell than a service. Okay. So we learn, okay, that we're not selling plumbing. Okay. We're not selling, the plumbing. Okay.
You're not selling a water heater.
We're not selling a water heater.
You're selling hot water.
Hot water. Okay. That's the product.
That's what you're selling. You're not selling a new toilet. You're installing, you're taking care of more than likely some sort of leak or running toilet. That's what you're doing. You're eliminating some sort of headache, but you're not installing a toilet. That's not what you're selling. You're installing, getting rid of an annoyance of a toilet leaking or running, whatever it might be. You're not installing a water softener. You're giving them soft water. That's your product.
Right. Exactly. So flat rate enables you to do that, and it allows you to focus on that, and the customer to focus on that in means, instead of being down in the weeds of this costs this much, this costs this much. Well, I can get this at Amazon for this much. That's what they start thinking. Well, I can get the whatever, and you're charging how much? $300 an hour. It's $300 an hour, and then it all gets into the money. Right. And no one wants to spend money on plumbing. Okay.
They do not.
But if they have no hot water, I want hot water.
Correct.
Okay, they want that.
Right.
Okay, but no one wants to buy the water heater or pay for the labor with that. Okay, but I want a hot shower when I'm getting ready for work in the morning.
Yep.
Okay, that's what going flat rate helps you able to do. Okay, and it truly does reduce that customer shock. Okay. Okay, they
know up front.
They know up front. Okay, it includes everything.
Because you do want to give them the price up front.
Right.
When you go flat rate.
And it does help with that sticker shock. Okay. There's no doubts. Again, with time and material, it's we charge 150. You'll be low if you're charging time and material. You're down low because that's a different kind of conversation. Okay, but it's just $150 an hour. $150 an hour. I don't make you're into that. Okay, and now they're keeping track of the time. They may ask you'll give how long do you think it'll be? Well, it'll be around this time. Well, they know again. Then now we're in that stressful situation. They're keeping track of that.
And if you go over, if we said it's going to be a couple hours, well, at an hour and a half, they're being mindful. They're very mindful of is he getting close? Is he almost done?
And they're watching, and you got that awkward.
Well, with flat rate, you don't have that.
Right, you don't have that at all.
Yep, because you've told them up front exactly what the price is going to be, and they don't care how long it's going to take.
Right,
they don't care.
Exactly. So it takes that emotion off the table. Okay, of how long you're here. Now, they want us out of their house. Okay, no one wants us in their house.
Sit down for dinner.
Okay, but they're not worried about how long it's taken you, if you got to go get a part and that kind of a thing. They just know that this job's costing me $557.
And then they don't worry about it. They know up front, and then they're okay, and they agree to the price. Then it's like, all right, this is what it is. And it's out of their mind now. They kind of go let you do your work, and then when you're done, you charge, you give them the bill, you accept payment at the time of service, and they're not freaking out because they already knew what it was going to be.
So, right. And that leads into my third point here. Okay.
Before you do, can I say one thing? Yeah. Hey, wherever you're watching us or listening, please give us a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, so other plumbers like you can find us. But that does help with all the algorithm things. But reviews, and we just had an episode talking about reviews. Reviews are very helpful. We'd love to get your comments, reviews on YouTube or wherever else you're watching. So please give us a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe. All those things. Love to hear from you.
Yes. So share the love. Appreciate that, brother. All right. So finally here, okay, an important point, okay. Number 3, it's not just about pricing, okay. It's about positioning, okay. All right. And what do I mean by that? Okay, whether you're going flat rate or staying with the old Stone Age time and material, okay, where you're losing all your profits. Can you tell what I'm leading you towards? Okay, no matter where you're going, okay. Pricing needs to reflect the reality of what it costs you to operate your plumbing business, not how you feel, okay? All right? And either way, if you're not confident in your pricing, okay, your customers aren't going to be confident in your pricing either. Okay.
Or you.
So the way to be confident about it, you have to understand everything that it takes to run your plumbing business. Okay, not just what you think and you feel right about. And like you're saying, a lot of times when we start out, we all start out this way. You know, we came up with our price, hourly rate, you know, based on, you know, what the company we were working for was charging. I'll just charge a little bit less.
You know, take some off.
Right.
Yeah, I'll show them.
Exactly. Okay. And so we just kind of pull a number out of our arse. Okay. You can't do that. And part of that is saying, well, and our feelings go with that too, is, well, I can't charge anything more.
Because I'm just me. It's just me and
Right.
a couple trucks or whatever. Right. I can't charge. How can I charge more? I'm just a little guy.
Right. But you must know your numbers, and not just the numbers, the direct cost, okay, numbers associated with that job, that direct job that you're doing right then, but everything that's associated with running your plumbing business.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Including profit.
Okay. Numbers don't lie. Okay. Our feelings do. Okay. I'm going to say that again. Numbers don't lie. Our feelings do. So this feeling that I can't charge that because my market won't pay that. Okay. My customers won't pay that.
Which is such a lie.
Okay. All the way to really what's happening internally is I don't feel I'm worth that. Okay. You know, we've seen it now hundreds of times. In fact, you know, I have, you know, it's so important you get this down. You know, we have a past client. In fact, you may recognize the name because now he's out there positioning himself or talking. He now calls himself the wealthy plumber. Okay. Well, he failed in his own story. Okay. He failed. Jared Williams. Okay. Failed twice before. Okay. Because he had this mindset. He was charging, I think at the time it was like $95 an hour. Now he serves literally the North Pole. Up there in BFE, Alaska. There's nobody there. I mean, it's just, the guys kill bear for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they take care. And so he had all the, you know, I can't charge that. Okay. Didn't know his numbers. He failed twice before.
Yes.
Well, he reach out to me. Okay. And
We coached him for a few years.
Yep. Got him coached up. All right. Soon as we started, okay, we worked on that mindset. We got him going from time and material to flat rate. Okay. Went from charging his hourly rate at $95 an hour to now up over very quickly over $500 an hour. Now this is the market where, you know, at all the, okay, there's no one's going to pay that and all that, but they did. Okay. And even his, you know, now he got him successful. All right. And he was even wound up selling
his plumbing business.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. So there's another example is real close out here that we see all the time. Okay.
Yes.
That it's so important that you've got to know, you can go from, you know, not knowing your numbers, okay, where you're at, why it costs you, you know, to do what you do, okay, to present it in a way, okay, that captures all of your numbers, all of your expenses, and presenting it to a customer in a way that it's more, it ain't about plumbing, okay, it's about getting them back into hot water, okay, whatever the situation is, all right, success. Okay, it is that simple.
Yes.
Okay, not necessarily that easy, because you got to be willing to do these things. Okay.
Yes, and get over yourself.
Okay.
And get over yourself. Because
Exactly.
you said the numbers don't lie.
Okay.
The numbers don't lie. And that's that is the very first thing that we teach in the academy. So if you ever join, if you're in the Success Academy, hopefully that's the very first thing that you did. You're supposed to. But when you join the Success Academy, if you haven't yet, why the heck not? But that's the very first thing that we teach is determining what we call the honest hourly rate. And the honest hourly rate did come from the $1 Million Plumber, just so you know. That was... it's a $1 Million Plumber, Richard Behney, proprietary calculation. Others have stolen it anyway. But that's what we teach you very first thing. And I will tell you, every single person that's gone through it, including when you just talked about, the person you just talked about, just shocked at once you go through and really itemize and list out what your true expenses are and include profit, because what's the point of having a plumbing business or any business if you don't have profit? That's the thing you guys miss all the time. You think you've got all your expenses in there, but then you forget about profit and you're like, why am I broke at the end of the month? Why am I still robbing Peter to pay Paul? Why is that happening? For one, you don't know your true numbers. And for two, you're not adding profit in so that you as the business owner can actually make a profit. But that's the very first thing we teach. And then once you have that number, get over yourself. Get over yourself. Numbers don't lie. If you put all your expenses in and you're very honest with what the expenses are to run your plumbing business, that's what you need to charge. there's no arguing with it. You can't say, well, okay, I did all my expenses and it came out to $325 an hour. There's no way. I'm only charging $125 now. There's no way I can charge that. Well, what are you going to do? Go back to your expenses and lie? Go back line by line and go, okay, well, really, my gas was, I said it was this much, but that's too much, so I'm going to lower it. No, that's your number.
Or you find a safe place and you hold a puppy real close and you just hug a puppy, all right, and it makes it all go away.
Yeah. And that normally doesn't happen. But that's one of the that's what I love hearing about new members in the Success Academy. Once they get into the first module and they learn about the honest hourly rate and they put their expenses in and they kind of do the gulp. This is what my true hourly rate is, and then they go charge it and then they report back. I didn't get any pushback. I didn't get pushback.
I love
and
that.
now that I'm doing it for a few weeks, I have money. I have money at the end of the week. I have money at the end of the month. I have more money at the end of the month than more month at the end of the money, right?
Just had a new client just state just that in a meeting that he was just totally surprised that the customers are happier and it has 5-star reviews. Mm-hmm. And they're charging almost 3 times as much. Mm-hmm. And he's just so surprised.
Right.
Well, there is some, again, when you present the price in a way to the customer, again, where it's a product and where they're getting their day back.
And with confidence.
Okay, in that kind of manner. And of course you got to do the good job. And it's all there. Right. That's
yes. I need to provide a great service. You need to show up looking good. You need to treat the customer with respect. You need to treat the customer's home with respect. You need to be kind and polite and all those things. All that, of course, all that matters. If you show up and you get your pants, down around, butt crack showing, right, and you smell like cigarettes because you just flicked a cigarette butt in their front yard, and
or smell like the last job,
or smell, your uniform's just all trashed out because just did some sewer clean out or whatever. Yeah, the value's been lowered completely if you do that. Show up as not a butt crack plumber, and taking your profession and your career seriously. That raises the value, and it also, when your price is a little bit higher. So one of our clients said the other day, once I raised my prices, it's like my service became valuable.
Yes.
As opposed to time and materials, and it looked like $125 an hour plus materials with no markup. I look cheap. I look like I was cheap. But if I have a price that's what may seem a little bit expensive, it feels like it's more valuable. So
well, it's the example. You take the kids out for family night or whatever, and you go to a Red Robin. Okay,
Robin.
Okay, you buy the hamburger. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if anyone goes to Red Robins anymore. I'm just thinking of our kids. Mm-hmm. And you go and you buy
that place,
right? And you buy the $10 hamburger. Okay, the $10 hamburger. Now you can go to McDonald's and you can get the 99-cent hamburger. Mm-hmm. All right, with just a little less beef, a little less lettuce, a little less. Okay, but is it really 1,000 times more? Worth it? Again, this is flat. They're selling the value, okay?
Right.
All right?
Because they have somebody waiting on your table.
Right, and so you eat that hamburger at Red Robin, are you any less full than if you would have eaten a McDonald's hamburger? Mm-hmm. Or any more full? Mm-hmm. I guess we had to pay, if either way you would look at it. No, you still got the plumbing done. Mm-hmm. You still got the burger. See what the point I'm trying to get at?
It's experience.
Okay, but we feel better taking the family and eating at Red Robin. And it's just because it's an experience. It looks a little better. It's they wait on you. Okay.
Took the dishes away.
Yes.
You have to clear your own table.
And it was kind of fun things going on. It was just a different. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it.
Yes.
That's what you got to create with your plumbing business. So if you present this to the customer the right way, going back again, flat rate. Mm-hmm. Okay. Make it about you're providing a product. Okay. You're getting their day back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Not fixing plumbing. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. That's the key.
That and getting over yourself.
Okay. Right. All right.
Those are the things if there's any takeaways from this episode.
And numbers don't lie. You got to know your numbers. Mm-hmm. Okay. Numbers don't lie. Feelings do. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you want to learn more about that, you mentioned, we have our free school.
We do. School being SKOOL.
Community, right.
It's a great platform that has different communities, that you can join. We do have a free school community. which we're super excited about. We just launched it, so come and join. We've got great information, great training, all the things out there.
Coaching's available.
Coaching's available.
Community with other like-minded, plumbing business owners who aren't your competition. Already, conversations are great.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotta love it.
Right.
It is school, SKOOL. So if you go to milliondollarplumber.com/school, SKOOL, that'll take you to the page, and you just click on join now.
Right.
As simple as that.
Or you
Community.
simply click the link either. Okay.
Yeah, we've got links here too. There's whatever platform you're listening to, or.
But if you're done, okay, if you're ready to rock and roll, okay, I knew it. Like you're thinking, I knew it.
I want that honest hourly rate.
Right. I want the honest right.
Calculator.
And how that works. And I knew flat rate was the way to go. I don't totally understand, but you're ready and open-minded, ready to do it. Let's talk. Okay. We'll have a conversation, get you pointed in the right direction, get you set up. Okay. Simply go to milliondollarplumber.com/call. All right.
CALL.
And we'll get you pointed in the right direction towards your success.
Yes, have a great conversation. Find out about your plumbing business, where you're at, what are your goals? What do you want out of this plumbing business? You started it for a reason, right? You didn't start it to do plumbing.
Just have a job that you own.
Right. You didn't. That's not why you started. You more than likely you started your plumbing business to have some sort of freedom. Right? We hear it all the time from people that join the academy or from our clients. They talk about, I want freedom. Well, okay, what does freedom look like to you? What does it look like? Is it owning your job where you're barely getting by, time and materials, and again, there's more month at the end of the money, and you just never seem to be getting ahead? You can keep doing that. How many years are you going to keep doing that? Over and over until you're what? 50, 55, 60? Your knees are shot, your back's gone. Why? It's one of the reasons that we just are so excited about the Success Academy and watching the people that have had success. And not only success financially, which is great, but also mindset, right? Because you've gone from being a plumber at another shop to being a plumbing business owner. You're an owner now. You took on that responsibility. When you started your plumbing business, you took that responsibility on. Whether you like it or not, or whether you think you did or not, doesn't matter. It's exactly what you did, because you're going to grow, more than likely, and you're going to have employees, and you're going to have customers, and you have a responsibility to them. You have a responsibility to your family first. We have a responsibility to them. You are a plumbing business owner. So it is up to you to learn these things. It is up to you to make sure you charge correctly. It's up to you. You don't answer to anybody. Nobody's firing you. Nobody's watching the clock. Nobody's, counting your vacation days or whatever.
And nobody's coming to save you either.
And nobody's coming. There is no cavalry coming in.
You got to decide it. And, and that's why, Jared Williams is a good example, okay, in that he failed twice before. All right, still wanted to try again. He reached out for help. Okay, all right, put into play, learned the system. Okay, did what I told him to do, what he should do, and he did the stuff or whatever. Okay, now he's presenting himself out there as the wealthy plumber. He's following in my footsteps.
As the expert.
Okay, right. Okay, and so.
What I want to say, would you rather learn from the master or the apprentice? That's what I want to say. Who do you want to learn from, the master or the apprentice? I always say learn from the master. And with that, there's a value, just like with you, just like with your plumbing business. There's butt crack plumbers out there that are charging $85 an hour. Don't be like them. Don't follow in their footsteps. Your customers don't want that. They really don't want that. They want someone that's professional. So anyway, learn from the master. Sorry.
There we go. But it's a great example. If he can do it, you can do it.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
All right. I'm just saying. Okay. So,
saying.
But kudos to him in the point that he at least he did it. Okay. He reached out for help. Okay. Even after failing twice. Okay. Still reached out for help. All right. Put my system into play. And it works, okay?
It does work.
It'll work for you too.
We got hundreds of success stories, which we just love to see. But you got to be intentional about it, and you've got to take the responsibility and the role of being the plumbing business owner and learning these things. So things that we just talked about, things that we talk about in Potty Talk, past episodes, that's what this is about. Success Academy, which you've heard about, again, give us a call and we can point you in the right direction, or just go to the free community, this free school community, and start immersing yourself in these things that are business related, not just plumbing related, but business related. That's what you need to do.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Well,
great episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there we go.
Flat rate versus time and materials.
All right.
Now you know, which is
the world is flat. Flat rate. Put it into play. There we go. All right. Hey, it was good stuff here. It was good. It was good having you here again. All right. But again, before I let you go, as always, I want to remind you that you were purposefully and wonderfully created, and you were created to do great things. So plumb like a champion.
Bye, everybody.